Okay, folks, good morning. I wish it didn't take so long to set this thing up every time, but I guess it's not that long. It's just like, that's the whole reason I wouldn't want to, one of the reasons I don't want to film for a small amount of time because it should remember all those settings, right? Like, I never want to change them. But that's what happens when you use something for free. It's sometimes not the most efficient. So here we are on the third T-35, and we're ready to do the weathering, which actually surprisingly takes a very short period of time. It's almost too quick. Good morning, Mr. Ben. Oh man. Well, if you come here every day, I'm eventually going to get your name right. All right. I wasn't ready for my quiz, but let's see how well I do. Let's turn this off so I can read. Now I'm going to screw it up. You changed it though, or maybe you're somebody different. Your ending is different. Björn Nulfer. Björn Nulfer. I'm gonna turn into the Swedish chef. I'm not careful. Oh man. I had a friend of mine who went to Iceland. Who actually I know two people that went to Iceland, and they had some incredible pictures. Good old U.S. field drab here. I'll eventually get it. I do better than most people. That's good enough. Like I said, my big gripe is if you watch something where an actor, right? That's people that should be good at that kind of stuff, right? I mean, they're an actor, they're pretending, right? That's like, what do you do for a living? I pretend. Do a good job of it? I'm like, okay, well, I mean, that's what you do, dude. Like, you should be better at it. But they're acting in something, and they make no effort to make a sound to make a sound, to make to speak in like somebody that's from that from that country. Like a portrayal that Mitch and I really liked was this show called Versailles, and the main actor is that plays Louis XIV is the same actor that plays the. I think he was a monk. I think his character was a monk in the Vikings. It gets taken away, and I think it's the Vikings, not the other one. See, I was watching the Vikings, and then the other one that has the whatever the hell it's called. That I also did not like the main character. I don't always dislike the main character, but sometimes they screw it up for me. But anyways, he does a superb job as Louis XIV. But he's an English actor or a British actor, I should say that, and he makes zero effort to make a French accent. Like, dude, with a little bit of training, you know, it just needs to sound Frenchish. It's just part of the role. It's just weird when somebody sounds like they're from Oxford or something, and they're trying to portray somebody from France. Like, maybe it doesn't bug some people, but it's kind of a big deal. You know, ending used to be an R, but I changed it to my actual first name. It's with the Only difference is the ending is Old Norse and the is modern Icelandic. Ulver. And Bjorn is a mix between Bjorn and Bjorn. 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 You're asking too much of me. What's up, my man? Stop being such an ice hole. Oh, man. In related news, the last time I went to Epcot, what? Um, and which was just before the debacle called the pandemic. I There was some Icelandic beer that they had there in Norway that was incredible. Icelandic ale, what, I don't know what the hell it was. It was superb. But that's it. We've talked about going there one day to see the Northern Lights. It's just so hard to take vacation time, even if it was free. Okay, even if vacation was free, it's hard to get away from your job, and it's not because I don't want to get away from my job. It's just that nobody to cover for you, kind of thing. But then again, I'm one of those people, when I'm not at work, I'm not working. I'm not like, well, I'll check emails from my vacation. I'm like, I can't solve everything. So why would I even do that? The two Ronnies sketch speaking Swedish. Not to mention you have to roll the R's. I can do the R rolling, okay? My people invented that shit. Um, I think I would like going to Norway a lot, actually. Except, like, I want to go there. Well, what's there? It's on the other side of the fjord. Well, let's look at the map. Oh, fuck. We got to go 300 kilometers this way and then turn around and 300 kilometers back just to go to somewhere that's 10 kilometers away. Rip the fjord? I don't know. I'm going to tell you something. That after my experience in Spain, finally getting to go to Spain, I'm going to have a hard time enjoying another country as much as I did that. And it's not because there aren't places that are better, that are more beautiful. It's just there's no place that I felt it in my soul because it's my people, and I never experienced that before, So I don't know. There's just maybe if you don't care about about whatever your history is, it wouldn't matter. But I don't go to New York and go, oh, my people. Like, that's not my people. I love this country, but I don't relate to lots of parts of it. I don't know if you can originally create it. Oh, I'm just making fun of you. If somebody just rolling the R's, I'm like, yep, that's Spanish for people here. Most people in America wouldn't even be able to. The only Icelandic story I have, and it's not my own story, I'm piggybacking on somebody else's story, is my wife, when she used to work, before she was my wife, she used to live in Connecticut. That's Ben's part of America, Connecticut. And she had a friend of hers that was she said she was from Iceland. And her name was Vigdis. and they couldn't pronounce her name, so they just called her Big Tits. And because apparently she had big tits. And that's where I found out about the whole Deuter thing, and I didn't know that. I didn't know the whole ending. It's kind of cool, you know? Um, um, yeah, she was a party animal. That's it. That's all I got. I don't know about being. I don't know about being on a place that's. It should be called Iceland. Should be called the land of fire and ice, because man, you guys are sitting on a couple volcanoes, and volcanoes are cool, but I don't want to live near one. That's some creepy shit. Yeah. So two people that I know went to Iceland. One of them had these beautiful pictures of this museum you guys have. I would imagine it's in Reykjavik, of sea creatures and stuff. They got like sperm whales, you know, like full size, and the lighting in there is just. It was. I was in awe of the pictures that he took. I'm like, man, that's cool. Secondhand stories. It's all right to tell secondhand stories. Just admit that it's somebody else's story, and just tell it as accurate as it was told to you. Like, the story might be complete bullshit, but that's what I was told. That old saying I heard a long time ago is, "I like you for who you are, not for the stories that you tell." Don't be making up stuff. I had this one guy that was making a delivery to us. He was a truck driver. This was shit. Was this the '90s? No, I was already married, so it might have been the really early 2000s, 2002 at the earliest, at the latest, something like that. And this guy came in and he was wearing this pendant that was like a Spanish coin, a Spanish, what do they call it? Real, around his neck. You know, like he's a gold finder or something like that. I don't know, like it was a diver or something. And it caught my attention. Like, hey, it's a cool coin there. I said, oh yeah, well, funny story about that. You were diving, snorkeling or something like that, and you came across this. This is him telling me. You came across this area where these dolphins were. So he had this real, and he has like these dolphins that are like in this circle around it, like basically bordering it on a chain. And I'm like, man, that's really cool. I said, oh man, a funny story about that. We were snorkeling. There was this place we kept seeing these dolphins going round and round, and we went over there and found out what they were circling around for, and there was some. We're digging around. We saw something that looked like wreckage, and he found this coin. He's like, oh man, a really cool story. And like a couple of months later, we were visiting St. Augustine in the gift shop. They got these things lined up from here to Tiananmen Square. Like, well, why would you make up a story like that? Like, is your life like full of like nothing where you have to make up a story? You know, you got to make up stories that bad? How about tell stories that you heard happen about other people or something? But why would you just This is before AI made everything fake, right? These are the people that were already making things fake. Like, why would you do that? Yeah, you had these things in every damn store. They had the same stuff, and they had that thing over and over and over again. Yeah, it's not a real Spanish coin. I mean, it'd be a waste of a coin to do it that way. It's not like there's like a big supply of those things still. Okay, which one of you is making that sound? Okay. I think, and they don't have to all be the same. You have to be done in the same spirit. So, no show tonight. If that's the reason you live for. Hopefully it isn't. What is it? And I don't hear well, so I'm thinking that's really loud for you guys. That's like a sound that if my wife was in here, it'd drive her crazy. She can't handle repetitive sounds. Oh, shit. There we go. Computer wasn't connected to power. There we go. Why is everybody's thing so dull? I don't like leaving a laptop connected the whole time. Like I said it's like 7 steps before I start doing my 12 steps. I don't know. I don't know what's making that sound, but fuck you. Maybe that was it. Nope. Yeah, it's only while we're doing this dry brushing. So I found 2 movies that I need to see when my daughter gets back. I mean, if she gets back, I guess Belgium is now on strike, supposedly. And I hope they get that shit cleared up tomorrow, or she's not going to be able to fly out of there tomorrow. And they're 2 Finnish movies. Winter War and then Unknown Soldier. Unknown Soldier looks really good. if most people would actually do this with an airbrush if they had an airbrush, but I'm a lot better at dry brushing than I am airbrushing. I'm a lot more comfortable with it too. All right. I gotta take a little bit of a bathroom break, and I'll be right back. hell was I? Still weathering this thing. That's funny. I said, hey, this is pretty quick, and it's taking longer than I'll ever have. Shut your mouth until the project's done. All right, now we still have the Iraqi sand to do on top of it, so we want to leave room for that. I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. Well, one thing's for sure, if the crew of this tank is really not very good, they're only going to have one action token per guy, so I could really cut down on how many tokens you can have. That looks good. Back when I got my first one of these, it was like something that was like cost prohibitive to get one of these. They were so expensive. You had the Skytrex one that weighed a metric ton. And if it fell on your foot, it was game over. And it's probably not cast really well. But if I didn't have any of these, and I wanted to get a couple, I'd get the S model ones because it can be had for like, I want to say $20, and you get two of them in there. S model stuff's pretty nice. Their decals are really good. Actually, fit on there really well. Lucky 14. All right, that part's done. Set these guys over here for the last one. We paint the little wooden bits and things like that before we go and do the drippings. Don't like these. Great color. Don't like those bottles. I feel like they're about to crack and break off. Oh, dare I do this? Oh, I survived. I survived the spat. I wonder what the fuck it is. Not even shaking that much. Dude. Oh, really? Considering this thing has all of its detail cast on, this has pretty good detail. I was reading this article on this vehicle and how much ammunition it carried. It's absurd the amount of ammo that was in this thing, assuming it was full. Something like over 10,000 rounds of machine gun ammo and hundreds of rounds of 45 millimeter ammunition. I'm like, dude, there's only 2 guns. It's like, man, this thing's a powder keg. And probably some of them did turn into powder kegs. That's lead belcher. Try not to open this thing all the way and get this paint everywhere. Let's just put a little bit there. Close this back up. This lid of that one is very incorrigible. I'm going to use the same brush and doing the tones. Well, with any luck, we'll be able to get this done this morning. I want something that has a little bit more space on it. I got tons of these things, so there's no reason to be. I'm going to need this before anything else, really. Can't do this without water. Mid-brown, soft tone, light tone. Light tone's probably the best one of the 3. The most useful one. It's the most orange-like. Let's go ahead and take this scum off of it. I bought this paint and it was all congealed. I didn't think it was actually going to work. Didn't look like it was mixing well. That one's the most brown, and this one's the most red. This one's also the most watery. And it may be a while before I have to buy any more of this stuff, but it looks like the new formula is better. The new formula that we did the wash on, I liked it a lot better. I liked the first one okay, but it actually That's good. If you're going to change the formula on something, make it better, not make it shittier. I don't remember right off the bat the last year they produced some of these, but it was could have been 6 years before the Germans invaded, which is a long time for a tank, especially when they're out in the weather, and especially when they're not doing proper maintenance on them. Yeah, it seems like the strong tone, which is the black, the new formula behaves more like these, which means it's thicker, more gel-like, and you can just cut it down with water. So that's good. It's good to know that because when I go and build my, actually the only reason I haven't messed with it is because I need to. I need to clear coat it. I need to clear coat that mesh cement. All right, let's make one that's a little watery here. And because this is acrylic, you don't have to worry about it eating some other paint or something like that. It's being very harsh. I gotta see what other colors they make because this stuff's really good. I'm talking about like, the greens or something like that for like mildew and things. Where there's a hinge is an opportunity for it to be rusty. What's up, Francois? Did you serve around any vehicles when you were in the service? Maybe not if you were a vehicle crew, but yeah. See, I don't do chipping, but this kind of stuff looks good. It looks believable. Not much, just working on the base of your Phantom. ASV. I'm not sure I know what that is. Let's find out. ASV. Oh, this armored security vehicle? Those things are cute. And they remind me of a French vehicle. I see the build of them, and they just remind me like a little French APC. Were they built in cahoots with the French? I guess it would be like a modern M20. I mean, it's a good looking vehicle. What's it armed with? A grenade launcher and maybe a 50? This is a good looking vehicle. Well, I'm not up to the modern stuff. I mean, Gorby kind of ruined it for me. So back in the '80s, the French had something that was like that. You know, it might have been based on it. It might have just been. It might just look similar. That's a good looking vehicle. Do all those vehicles have push button starts, or do you have to actually have a situation where somebody like forgets the keys? Oh man, I forgot the keys. I left them in my locker. In and around all the helicopters. I was reading an article yesterday about the Chinook and how it claimed it was. I never thought about this, but it claimed it was a pretty fast helicopter, and it would never have occurred to me that a Chinook was a fast helicopter. It's probably it is a vehicle that I would consider ugly, but it's not ugly. Like this would fall into that category. This is an ugly vehicle, but it's not ugly. Like it's got its own character. The Chinook is the same way. It looks unattractive, but when you look at it, it's really that not that unattractive. I mean, there were some ugly helicopters made. I actually see them quite frequently flying over the plant or flying near the plant. You can hear them before you ever see them. A 50 and a Mark 19. Okay, has a pintle mount as well. For a 240, yeah, 240 is what the new M60 new. It might be out for 35 fucking years. I'm just saying, to me. There's a couple of vehicles that are I would call modern that I wouldn't mind building, but I wouldn't use them in a war game. So it's easy to abstain from getting those because when there's no possibility of using them in a war game. I mean, why am I even getting them to begin with? But one of my favorite ones. There's actually quite a few modern vehicles that I like. Um, my favorite one is the heavy tank. What is it? An M103, I think is what it is. The bad thing about that thing is that there's a real lack of markings on those things. Markings that get you excited. And I think the Army had half of them, and the Marines had half of them. They only made 1,200 of them or something like that. Relatively low numbers, I think. That's a cool vehicle. I wouldn't mind doing some of the Arab-Israeli conflict ones, but not anything new like the Merkava or whatever. I know the Merkava's been around since about 1979 or something like that, but that's too new. I'm talking about like a Centurion or something. That might be cool, but I'm not gonna game that. I mean, having gotten into the Pacific, why would I game that? But Super Shermans look great. I like the way T-62s look. I know they're a piece of shit. That's irrelevant. I like how they look, but like, why would I have one? You know, like, or 249. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. I don't know the difference between the two, but I suspect that they fire 5.56. I would suspect that the squad automatic weapon fires 5.56. That would make sense just from an ammo sharing standpoint. Had this set of rules. What was it called? Force on Force, and played one game of them, and they just seemed way too generic. And they were too beautiful. That rulebook is gorgeous. I'd much rather buy a PDF and then know that I can get it immediately and I'm not ruining a beautiful book just by learning how to play the rules. I just like to take care of books, you know. I really enjoy doing this part. I was right on that. I'm not a total idiot. It makes sense, right? Ammo sharing. You know, when a 5.56 kills humans, I'm not going to say as well as 7.6251, but good enough. And you can carry more ammo. Less recoil. Yeah, 5.56 has like no recoil, relatively. I've been hearing good things about that movie Warfare, but it's not available to watch for free, so I'm ready to watch some combat movies with my movie buddy. Daughter's supposed to get here tomorrow, but I don't think she's going to be able to. Freaking Belgian. My daughter says to me, I've had enough of these damn striking people. Everywhere she's gone, there's been some kind of a strike or something like that. I'm like, don't have to worry about her joining a protest anytime soon, that's for sure. You're a fan of the Conqueror tank. Could be either one, just depends on what's laying around. Oh, really? It's interchangeable? Well, that's super handy. Conqueror tank. I want to say I know what that looks like, but not. God, I love the Chieftain. That is just an awesome looking vehicle. especially when it's like green and black. Holy Christ, that's a lot of armor. Oh my God. It's like British racing green in this photo. Oh, they were in service. Oh, they only made 185. That's actually, it doesn't weigh a lot considering how much 330 millimeter turret armor. Yeah, you definitely want to be hauled down with that thing. Tanks of comparable role. AMX 50. I've never seen AMX 50. Ooh, that's ugly. Yeah. Both the Conqueror and the Centurion were replaced by a Chieftain. Didn't know that. Okay. Chieftain looks great. And I like the fact that its turret isn't symmetrical. It's symmetrical enough. Should appear on Prime. Is it worth watching? Well, it might appear on Prime in the UK. Because for whatever reason, for whatever reason, they don't we don't get to watch the same stuff. It's almost like they want us to, get into wars again with each other. You guys are our closest allies, man. What about the Canadians? Fuck Canada. I don't have anything against the Canadians, but the U.S. and Britain should be like the closest freaking allies. Should have the same stuff. I went over there and felt at home. Except for the whole driving on the wrong side of the road. That's right. I like the Canadians better now. Now that I think about it. No, I know that you guys have different stuff on the TV markets. You'll be able to watch some stuff and then we can't. Man, I got to go back to work on my two Matildas. That's like my favorite British tank. That's not true. I like the A-13s a lot and the Crusaders. There's actually a lot of them that I like. I don't care much for the tanks in the British tanks in Normandy. They all start looking kind of boring. Didn't say I wasn't going to have any, just yeah, this stuff is great. You can thin it however you want. You can make it thicker. But I want to watch those two Finnish movies, which I think you can only rent. It's fine, I'll rent them. I'll rent them when it's like more than just me watching it. I don't think they've ever made a good. I don't think they've made a movie about the Falklands, have they? I actually was on the lookout for when I went to the show for a really cheap Comet. You know, it is made by Amazon Studios, so it should appear at some time. Yeah, they're just trying to cash in on all that. As much as they can before they realize, okay, all right, nobody wants to watch it. All right, we'll go ahead and give it away for. Because I can't tell you the net last time I went to a movie or have any interest in going to a movie. I guess we're not going to get done with this today. That's okay. I really do like doing this part. I feel I can put my own spin on it. Oh, this is probably a very rustified area right here. Oh yeah. Yeah, and I'm really happy with that, with the new dark tone. Really, really happy because it's thicker. It's thicker than the regular one. You know, if I was going to do 1/700 scale ships, here we go. This would be super handy. This would be super, super handy. If I'm doing stuff like the Yorkshire Gamer, which I'm not, those naval rules would have to have a lot of detail. Then you could make some real magic with this stuff right here. Real magic. Because there's a lot of things that are like rusty, but it's almost like, is it really rusty? Or is it like the rust coming out from behind the paint? You could do so much of that stuff with this. We don't need to get into that. We don't need to get into that. I did have a 1/700 scale Scharnhorst from Tamiya and a Rodney, but they weren't weathered or anything. I got them in the 90s. So they were painted, but they weren't like weathered painted. They didn't have any washes or anything on them.